morning. Hello and welcome to sunny South Yorkshire. It is sunny. Maybe we will get that samashing done today. Finished off. I've got something to tell you about something that annoyed me when I bought this from the Aldi yesterday. Look at that heritage, and at the bottom there it says that they're giving money to UK heritage sites. You'd think it was UK beef, wouldn't you? We tell you it's not. First, let's get on some tractors and blow out some straw to our cattle. Look after our British beef. So we're just blowing the straw in now, looking after these guys, keeping them clean, keeping them healthy. We feed them twice a day. We're always monitoring their welfare, and you'll see where I'm leading with this. I went to Aldi last night and we bought that. Right, I picked it up. I know Aldi do British beef. Just read the front of the packet. Saw down here something about United Kingdom. Thought, all right, happy days. Yeah, it's a bit of a grab and go. A impulse purchase, I suppose. I thought, yeah, I'll try that. You know, something different. We'll give it a blast. Wasn't until I got home that I thought, oh, we'll just read the back of the packet just in case. You know, it's talking about heritage and stuff. And I'm not saying it looks completely British on the front, but the bit where it says like that they're giving stuff to the United Kingdom, I thought probably going to be British beef. So I started reading through the back of the packet here. Look, a bit of a blurb about how it's done and how to store it and stuff, and then got to the meat bit. Right, okay. So it's from Namibia. All right. Unlike in colder countries, Namibian cattle do not spend their winters in confined spaces in barns, but instead roam freely outdoors in the way that nature intended. So these guys, you know, really confined. In fact, I can't even see any. All right, so this part here, really confined in these barns, and this is from Namibian cows. You know, the way that nature intended meat to travel 7,500 miles to get to you in Yorkshire. Really, the way that nature intended, wasn't it? Oh, you know that? Bin. And I wouldn't have said anything about it if the blurb wasn't as denouncing to people that have cattle in colder climates in the way that nature wasn't intended, supposedly. I'm guessing that the person who has wrote that little blurb about Namibian beef knows nothing about Namibian beef, knows nothing about UK beef, and just probably very misguided. Like, can you imagine that Namibian beef follows the same rules as in the UK on medicine treatments, on animal welfare? Maybe they might say they've got to follow certain rules, but can you imagine that those rules are always carried out? I think there will be lapses in those rules, possibly. Maybe corruption of those rules. That's what I'd say. I wouldn't personally trust beef that's come 7,500 miles. There's no chance of their customer coming and saying, hang on a minute, you've left antibiotics in this. I wonder if it's tested for that. I don't know. Anyway, I wouldn't have said anything, but if that piece hadn't been in about us not looking after cattle in colder climates. So all Europe don't look after cattle properly by the sounds of it, which is far, far, far from the case. I'm all for Namibian beef coming in and, you know, it paying for whatever. It's a 20 gram, no, it's not a 20 gram, 55 gram pack of beef. Like, it's not going to make a dent in the UK market, let's face it, but it's just when there's little write-ups like that say that we're not doing our job right here in the UK. if they hadn't put that little bit of blurb about European cattle or colder climate cattle, UK cattle basically, not being looked after naturally and it seemed like it was like not looked after right because they weren't outside grazing all year round. Well, I'll just let them into a little secret. You can get pasture for life cattle in the UK that are fed on grass all year round. And it's very difficult to finish them, I would suggest. I mean, people that do it would probably suggest not, but I would suggest it's much more difficult compared to finishing cattle inside like we do. But it is available. You don't have to go 7,500 miles to get the credentials that they say are only necessary from Namibia, only available in Namibia. No, like you can get it from the UK, especially if you're doing it in small batches like that, because it's not. I mean, 55 grams a pack. You're not going to be using a lot of beef for you when you're creating those packs. They're just impulse buys for people at the tills or at the end of the aisle, and they know that. They know that the person buying that pack's not going to be reading it all in the supermarket to find out the different bits and bobs. They're going to be looking at the front cover just like I did, and that's probably why they've donated 1% of the value of the pack to heritage sites. It's just a marketing ploy. That's all it is, and I think it's a marketing ploy to legitimise transporting beef 7,500 miles. So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have said anything, but if it didn't, if I think somebody uneducated in British beef has wrote this blurb at the back here trying to legitimise their reasons, that's all. I think I've repeated myself a few times, but that's what I mean. Anyway, back to feeding cows and looking after them. Right, we're on it. I've just got the hedge cutter on, which when Ben gets here he's going to go off with that on the 6.9. Just checking over the oil and water and what have you. I'm going to get this dropped off and then we can get to the field and start moving some of those branches. No one's going to get a mix on. Right, so I've got the tines on. I've just tried to straighten one or two of them, although I've not been entirely successful with this middle one here. That one's diving down, but see if we can find a tree stump or something to do it on when we get to the field. And yeah, we better get set off, I suppose, and get something done. We're on its way. A little bit of road driving, we'll put her into two-wheel steer. Oh, postman's here. Postman doesn't have a red van anymore. He has a grey one, which is wrong. Royal Mail, it should have red. So this is where it gets a little bit tight down here. Or maybe it's not as tight today. Oh no, it's still fair tight, like. Jesus. I'll have to shift some stuff. Lado there says it's two different companies working, and there's a blockage under the piece of road that I'm driving across, so they're actually going to have to dig that bit up. He says it's not going well. I think they're putting that fibre in, which would be handy if they could get it to my village, because that had been uploading videos would be like, it'd be brilliant. We're getting in here, it's all like reeds and stuff. I reckon dig a ditch along that far side. Water must be coming from somewhere. There's a ditch in the bottom, dig that out, and hopefully we can get this field a little bit drier. I'm not saying that's never been tried before, but we've got to try something really to try and get water away from this end. I know I enjoy samashing, but cleaning up's not that bad, you know. It's not that bad. It's actually quite rewarding. See where you've been. Rip the branches out of the way. A lot of it I'm sticking in gaps in the wood, so they'll turn into beetle banks. for the insects to live in. See if that'll set fire to it, you see, so I think that might be a better option. Gets a bit wet here. Good job I've got this on. I just pushed myself out then. But yeah, I just got out to have a look and I thought, oh my heck, I am fair deep in there. I think this is a big load. It's pipping at me a lot anyway. There we go. Big bush. Great thing is with a 9 metre, you can push the boom out, which gets all the branches out of your face, and then keep pushing and away from the wheels and just keep going with her until you find a space. Hopefully you can make out what's happening. Ash is here now with the hedge cutter. He's got a nice background, doesn't he? So he's going to take them brambles out and then go and do the hedge at the bottom of the field. So I'm up here, Ash is down there. I'm moving tree branches, he's cutting grass. Tell you what, he's done some blooming work, this machine. They have a small tank, but I got nowhere to fill it from it before we left. We're down to a quarter, so I don't think it'll do a full day. Right, so I'm getting close to finishing the day. The sun's just coming over and lighting up this bottom headland, which wasn't happening before because there was a hedge sort of really quite tall up. So we've brought that back down. That means I can get into this ditch that's down here. Oh, I can get into it with the digger. Maybe in the summer now, so I don't think we'll get time. Get into there, dig that out, and get some better drainage across these fields. And then next year we can take this hedge and keep it at a nice manageable height with the hedge cutter. We've left a few bits tall obviously in these wet areas, we can't even get to them, so the hedges are left tall there. Trees in the wood. So it's not like the birds will have nowhere to go. It's just that we need to manage the landscape to produce some food. Anyway, I think that is probably about it from me today. I've used a full tank of fuel in that going around this field, which one shows you it's a bit tricky to travel in places, and that's what uses the fuel. We're on some steep banks as well, and yeah, it's really giving it some pushing these branches around. So yeah, if you've liked the video, press like, subscribe, and we will see you in tomorrow's vids, which what will tomorrow be? Are we on Friday tomorrow? Or are we Thursday? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. It's one of them days. It's just one of them days, guys. Bye. Oh, I'm back. So as we're leaving the field, we've got some ruts here that are full of water. So I've just run the tines through it, and should now, fingers crossed, all drain away and dry these up, make this headland a bit drier. It is quite a view from here. Nice.